Good morning and welcome to episode 131 of Duval Rundown. My name is Gus Logue. Today I'm joined as I am each and every Friday by Hacker. You can catch his show Hacker After Dark each weekday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Was your show earlier in the evening this week, Hacker, because there was no into the night, or were you still on 8 to 10?
Yeah, I was 6 to 8 all week, and I'll be 6 to 8 tonight. Blues on vacation. Normally 8 to 10, but this week
Right.
6 to 8.
Yeah, so 6 to 8 tonight, but going forward and regularly 8 to 10, you can catch Hacker on his show, Hacker After Dark. But Hacker, welcome back to Duval Rundown. Appreciate you, as always, for joining the show. How's your week been?
It's been good, obviously, with the schedule coming out. We got OTAs next week. I know I'm scheduled to talk with Eric Murray after practice on Monday next week, so looking forward to that conversation. So, yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely. The title of the show is Gus Says Farewell. I'm going to get to that at the end of the show, but for right now, we're treating it like normal programming. Today, our topic on the 2025 Jaguars is another version of Rate Your Take on the show that I did with John Shipley, not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that. So about 7 episodes ago or so, I did Rate the Take with John Shipley and had him rate my takes on the Jaguars. We're going to try that again today, where each of us, Hacker and I, are going to give out some takes looking forward to the 2025 Jaguars, previewing and projecting how certain players and the team as a whole is going to do. And then the other person is going to rate the take. Let's say we'll do 0 to 5 stars in terms of rating. And so, Hacker, I'm ready to judge. I'm ready to rate. What is your first take on the 2025 Jaguars?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at this roster, let me begin with Trevor Lawrence. We'll start right
Mm.
at the top. I think Trevor. Now that's relative because I don't know how good the years have been. Maybe probably 2022 was his best year, but I think statistically, with Liam Cohen now, Grant Udinski, and the new staff, I think statistically Trevor Lawrence, yardage, touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, will have his best year as a Jacksonville Jaguar.
I'm right there with you. I wrote down like one of mine was Trevor Lawrence breaks the franchise record for completion percentage. I do agree with you. I think that it's a little bit tough because like I think that I don't know about you, but I've probably been projecting Trevor Lawrence or saying that like okay, this is the year that he's going to break pretty much every franchise record because they're all pretty reachable. Blake Bortles did throw 35 touchdowns in I think it was 2014, and he also had pretty like almost 4,500 passing yards. So Lawrence does have 2 seasons of more than 4,000 passing yards, but I think he could beat the passing yards record without too much trouble, especially now with a 17-game season. 35 touchdowns is a lot, but I also think he could break the record for completion percentage, which I think would be a big indication because like Lawrence, because of his big arm, because he can access every level of the field, isn't necessarily a guy that's always going to have a high completion percentage. Like usually those guys are like the game manager type quarterbacks that don't have a super strong arm and end up having a lot of check down passes and short yardage passes. But Lawrence, I think, will be able to break the record because I have so much trust in Liam Cohen's scheme, and also because Liam Cohen is going to run a ton of screenplays and still a fair share of RPOs, which we saw plenty of RPOs in Jacksonville under Doug Peterson. So I think there will still be plenty of short yardage stuff for Trevor to be able to hit on and be able to boost that completion percentage up. But I also have faith in him maintaining a relatively high completion percentage at the intermediate and deeper levels of the field because of Liam Cohen's scheme, but also because of Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas just being so good at getting open, staying open, coming down with the ball. It's all set up for Trevor Lawrence to have a really good year. But Hacker, question for you. Who has the Jaguars' current record for single season completion percentage?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're asking, it's probably not an obvious one, so I won't say Brunell. I'll say David Garrard.
It was not Brunell. It was not Garrard. It was Trevor Lawrence in 2022, a
Oh,
66.3 completion percentage. So that definitely surprised me that Trevor actually already has the franchise record. And so I guess my take is that he's going to break his own franchise record. But yeah, Lawrence from the 2022 season has the number one spot, and then it's Minshew from his rookie season in 2020 was right below Lawrence. And then after Lawrence and Minshew seasons, I think it was a couple seasons of Mark Brunell. Definitely his 2003 season, he had a high completion percentage. But yeah, I don't know. Do you want to rate the takes, Hacker, or should we just spew the takes and keep moving on? I don't know if we really do need to rate them or not. I think
No, I think just
right,
yeah,
five
just
star.
let's just let them fly.
All right, let's just fly through. All right, Hacker, what is your next take on the 2025 Jaguars?
All right. Let's go. Since we did Trevor Lawrence, let's go to the running game next. Tank Bigsby will lead the team in rushing this year.
I like that one a lot. All right, well, talk me through it. Is it like, do you have a lot of faith and confidence in Tank Bigsby having a big year? Is it almost as much that like you just don't have a lot of confidence in Travis Etienne and the rookies to have a big year? Do you think that Bigsby is just like the best scheme fit for Liam Cohen? Talk me through the take a little bit.
I just think that, the emergence of Bashal Tootin, I think, will eat into Travis Etienne's time because I think Etienne, probably starts the year as the starting running back, but I think at some point he kind of morphs into kind of a third down pass catching option. But I think Tootin is going to split some time there as well. I think no more than a month into the year, Bigsby's probably your starting tight end. And I think Tank Bigsby just is going to get more carries. He's going to lead the team in carries as well. And as a result of that, he'll lead the team in rushing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think like he's got a pretty reliable and sturdy role. You know that Tank Bigsby is going to get a good amount of carries each and every game this season, assuming good health. But then like you can't really think the same thing for Travis Etienne or for the rookie running backs. The rookie running backs, because they're rookies basically, so you don't necessarily want to expect too much out of them right out of the gates. Or at least wouldn't be surprised if you didn't get really anything from them out of the gates. And then with Travis Etienne, since it's his last year, more than likely in a Jaguars uniform. I think the team is going to be a lot more invested in Bigsby and the rookie running backs and making sure that they're performing at a high level since they're under contract for more than 1 year. So that one makes a lot of sense to me. I like that one a lot. I didn't have any takes on the running back room, so I'm going to move us to the receiver room. My take is that De'Ami Brown is going to lead the NFL in yards per reception. And so I think that he might not have great volume, especially with the team drafting Travis Hunter second overall. And so now that's a pretty clear pecking order of Brian Thomas as the number one and Travis Hunter as the number two receiver in Jacksonville. But I think that De'Ami Brown is firmly entrenched in the number three role. Obviously, Parker Washington has kind of like earned the ability or earned the right to see the field on offense and to be used maybe in situational packages where he can really be maximized out of the slot. But I think the Jaguars paid De'Ami Brown $12 million to come here for one season for a reason. I think that the way that James Gladstone was talking about him after the signing really made me think that they had a true vision for using De'Ami Brown, and that he wasn't just like a guy that they just like were like, sure, yeah, we'll give you a 1 year deal just because we need bodies at the position. I think they're really, really excited by what Brown can bring to the field, even with Thomas and Travis Hunter kind of stealing the show, or at least having most of the spotlight on them. But because so much of the spotlight will be on Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, I think that's going to open up a lot of really good opportunities for De'Ami Brown in Liam Cohen's scheme. And so, again, I don't think the volume is going to be quite what at least I was expecting before Travis Hunter was drafted. But even with Travis Hunter drafted, now I think the efficiency is going to be through the roof for De'Ami Brown. And so I'm really excited to see what he's able to do and for his likely 1 year in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, for the last 22 days, it's been all Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., and obviously, I mean, those guys look like they're
Right.
going to be an unbelievable duo. I am so unbelievably high on De'Ami Brown. And maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, Gus, and I've been
Hmm.
guilty of drinking the Kool-Aid in the past, so it wouldn't be the first time. But you talk to anybody down at the Miller Electric Center this entire off season, they cannot say enough good things about De'Ami Brown. They think they have one with De'Ami Brown, and with all the pressure on defenses with BTJ and with Travis Hunter, I think De'Ami Brown may feast in this Liam Cohen offense.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for him. Hacker, any takes? Or actually, real quick, like who would you say you're buying the most out of the Jaguars is like skill position units? Like you can look at it in like a fantasy football lens if you want of like whose stock relative to like where they're getting or where you think they might be getting drafted in fantasy football leagues. Like, are you buying all the stocks possible that you can of De'Ami Brown or Trevor Lawrence or anyone else? Like, who would you say like you're most interested in investing in for this season the most of the Jaguars' skilled players?
Oh, I think Brian Thomas Jr. I
Yeah,
think of
that's
all
my
the
answer too.
guys, I think I think by the end of the year, Brian Thomas Jr. will be considered to be top 10, if not top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he had such a good season that he was considered like the best or even one of the three best wide receivers in the NFL. Maybe one of the three best, but not the best when Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are hanging out. But I do think that it's in his range of outcomes for sure to have like the best season by a wide receiver just in terms of production. So yeah, I'm very excited for Brian Thomas, obviously. But Hacker, what's your next take for the 2025 Jags?
Yeah, I don't know how much of a take this is because it's almost a common thought, but I think Wyatt Milam is going to be your opening day starter at left guard. I think he's going to beat Ezra
Hmm.
Cleveland out for that job.
That's a good. I like that one a lot. Do you think it's like pretty much just a left guard battle? And because I wonder, like obviously you'd think that Patrick McCarry is going to start at right guard, considering that he's a free agent addition. He signed a pretty solid 3-year contract, so he's expected to be the starter for multiple years in Jacksonville. But I think the Jags just like view McCarry as such a utility knife, such a Swiss Army knife, whatever, that he like can be plugged into any spot on the offensive line that I feel like they almost like wouldn't mind too much if McCarry quote unquote lost a starting job, because as soon as another player gets like injured or as soon as another player like doesn't play well enough to keep his starting job, then they can just plug in McCarry. So I guess I'm a little interested to see like whether Milam gets cross trained a little bit at right guard on the other side of the line as well, or on the other side of the formation. But yeah, I like that one a lot. I think it'll be interesting to see. It seems like it's a matter of when, not if, Milam does take that left guard spot, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And I think Walker Little better come to training camp and better come to OTAs with his big boy pants on because I think that is a legit competition with Fred Johnson. I mean, Fred Johnson played 6 games. He played every game, but he started 6 games for the world champion Philadelphia Eagles last year. So I think, whether it's lighting a fire under Walker Little, whatever you want to call it, I think there is absolutely a legit competition between Little and Johnson for that left tackle spot. I think Anton Harrison's going to win the right tackle spot, but likewise, he better not mess around in training camp either, because Chuma Edoga is a guy that was a 5-star recruit, a guy that started 10 games for the Dallas Cowboys over the last 2 years. So Johnson and Edoga are going to bring in a lot of competition for Little and Harrison as well.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that kind of helps to maximize Little and Harrison as much as possible. I think that we all know that like Trevor Lawrence is going to determine pretty much the floor and the ceiling of this football team as long as he's under center and healthy. But I think that beyond Trevor Lawrence, like how well or how not well these two tackles play in 2025, Walker Little and Anton Harrison could have a huge impact the floor and the ceiling of this team and how much of a run they can make into the postseason. So I like that one a lot. Yeah, I mean, Milam, we'll see how soon he can get into the starting lineup, but obviously it's going to be one of, if not the biggest positional battles to be watching throughout the offseason in training camp. My next one, I figured I'd throw in about the schedule, relating to the schedule, since we did just have the schedule release on Wednesday night. If you want me and I's quick hits on the schedule release and what it means for the Jaguars, you can go back and listen to yesterday's show, episode 130. But my take on the schedule, or relating to the schedule for the 2025 Jaguars, is that they're going to score over 100 points in the first 3 weeks of the season. They start out at home against the Panthers, away against the Bengals, and then back at home against the Texans. And so I think the Panthers and the Bengals are definitely both like formidable opponents. I think they're both like could sneak into the playoffs as wild cards in each of their respective conferences. I certainly don't think, even if they are like a relatively easy opponent for the Jaguars compared to the rest of their schedule, especially the rest of the first half of their schedule, it's certainly not going to be a cakewalk. I think these are two good and ascending organizations, but I do think that the biggest weakness for them is their defense. There's just not a lot of talent there for the Panthers, and the Bengals is the biggest thing. They do have some decent coaching, especially in Carolina, now that Lou Anarumo has left Cincinnati. But yeah, the defenses are the worries for those two teams. Liam Cohen, when he was with the Bucs last year, scored 74 total points against the Panthers in 2024. And so I think that they're going to come out of the gates really hot with this new Liam Cohen offense that featuring Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter in the passing game against the Panthers and the Bengals. And then I extended it to 3 weeks, 100 points in the first 3 weeks, because I think that even though the Texans defense is much better than those first two opponents under D'Amico Ryans, the Jaguars are hopefully going to come out really hot and really angry, and I guess hopefully not too emotional, but pretty emotional after last year's game when Trevor Lawrence was concussed with a pretty dirty hit by a Texans defender. And so obviously a lot of interest, a lot of intrigue, a lot of history between those two teams. But I think the Jaguars are certainly going to be motivated to score as many points as they can in week 3 against the Texans. And so 100 plus points. So that means they would be averaging 34 points in the first 3 games of the season. Hacker, what do you think about that?
That's ambitious, man. I like it. I hope it comes to fruition. No doubt about it. I think my thought initially when you say it is I like it, but I think a lot of that's going to be determined in the preseason. How much does the starters play in the preseason to build that chemistry, that timing? Look, I think Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. can be dynamic, but will we see them at all together in a preseason game? Or literally, will we see them the first time out there against Carolina on September 7th? I do think this Jaguar offense has the potential to be very explosive. I just wonder how early it will take shape. If it takes shape that early, then this season's going to be very, very fun. So I hope you're right. But again, I think a lot of that timing, chemistry, whatever you want to call it, I think we'd have to see a lot in the preseason for them to be able to come out that strong right out of the gate.
I do think that like something that could kind of counteract that a little bit and balance it out a little bit is even though there is certainly a lack of chemistry and a lack of experience playing together, it's just like a new scheme. Like, yeah, we can go back and watch film from 2024 in Tampa Bay, but like we don't know how Liam Cohen is going to deploy Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter at the same time. And so I think defenses will be somewhat caught off guard a little bit for the first couple of weeks of the season. And then later in the season, towards the midpoint, then teams will be able to see on tape like what the 2025 Jaguars are doing and be able to make adjustments based off that. But that said, it's definitely a very valid point. It certainly could take a little bit of time for things to click in Jacksonville. And so obviously scoring 100 plus points in the first 3 weeks of the season would be an incredible sign. But they'd obviously want to maintain that too. And so it'll be fun to see how the first few weeks shake out. I've got one more take that I've got listed here, Hacker. Do you have any more?
Yeah, just quickly on the defense, just kind of rapid fire. I think Eric Armstead, after this season, will no longer be looked at as a bust of a free agent signing. I don't think we get the Eric Armstead from San Francisco, but I think Eric Armstead has a better 2025 than he had in 2024. Now, that's relative because he wasn't very good last year, but I think he will be better. And I also think Ventrell Miller will be considered the second primary linebacker with Foye Oluokun. We will no longer say Oluokun and Lloyd. We will say Oluokun and Ventrell Miller.
That's spicy. I like that one a lot. That's definitely an underrated positional battle to look forward to, I think. My last one was that not just the next individual, but the next 2 individuals to be inducted into the Pride of the Jaguars will be Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker. I don't think that like it's too hot of a take to say Josh Hines-Allen will at least make it into the Pride of the Jaguars one day. He's only a few sacks away from breaking Tony Braxton's franchise record for career sacks as a Jaguar. And I think shouldn't be news to anyone about how great of a leader Hines-Allen is off the field and how great his work ethic is. He obviously fits the intangibly rich model that the Jaguars have both on and off the field. But I think Trayvon Walker also fits that description. I'm expecting really big things from him, especially this season as he's playing for his big second contract. But just in general, over the next couple of years, he and Josh Hines Allen have had 3 seasons playing together. And I think that I'm optimistic. I was also optimistic at this time last year, but I'm optimistic again that this coaching staff will be able to actually get the most out of the entire defense, but especially those 2 players along the front. And so, yeah, Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, those will be the next 2 guys inducted into the pride of the Jaguars. I guess, Hacker, a follow-up question for you is, like, if it's not those 2 guys, or are there any other names that come to mind as guys that you think could one day be in the team's Hall of Fame? Like, to me, like, Maurice Jones-Drew is kind of obviously missing from the pride right now, but if he's not in the pride right now, like, I don't know when he would get there. And so I don't know if there's any other names that stick out to you, or what you think about that take in general.
Yeah, Maurice Jones-Drew should be in. I should know this. I don't think he is. Is Brad Meester in? He should be. If he's
He's
not, he will
not.
be. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, Brad Meester absolutely deserves to be in. You could argue Keenan McCardell as well. There's a lot of guys you could argue. I mean, Rasheed Mathis, Donovan Darius. But if you talk top, MJD, and to me, Brad Meester, I mean, he played the most games as a Jaguar. Meester should definitely be in.
All right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. Hacker, any other thoughts to get off of your chest? Or do you want to call it a show, call it a weekend, and we'll get out of here?
Yeah, Gus, I know you're going to do a farewell here. I'm going to give you the floor, buddy. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to miss you, but I know I'll see you down there at OTAs and at Jaguar training camp. But I will exit the room and give you the floor, and we'll talk soon, pal.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely see you later as opposed to a goodbye, but appreciate you, Hack. Thank you so much for your time for the duration of the past year. Really, really appreciate you. I had a blast having you on.
Thanks, Gus.
All righty. So farewell, everyone. See you guys later. Bye-bye. If you did not listen to yesterday's show, or if you don't follow me on social media yet, you can follow me on Twitter/X at Gus_Logue, or on Blue Sky at, I think it's just at Gus Logue. But I'll make sure to post my social media handles in the comments below on this YouTube page, and then also on the podcast networks. But yeah, today is my last show hosting Duval Rundown. It is my last day at 1010XL. I've had a great run here at 1010. I've had a great time. It's been 2 years that I've been working here under Mia O'Brien. So first of all, shout out to her, Mob, Mia O'Brien. She's an amazing content creator in her own right, and an amazing Jaguars reporter, but just as good of a boss and just as good as a director of multimedia department, which is her role at 1010XL. And so it's been really cool for me to be able to multimedia department, and especially kind of watching it grow. Shout out Graham Marsh, who was kind of like the first real hire as a multimedia person at 1010XL. So Graham, Mia, and then Taylor Dahl have really built it up from the ground floor. And so I'm happy just to have been a part of it. But yeah, in terms of me for the future, I will be still running and writing at Big Cat Country. So make sure you definitely check out Big Cat Country. But I will probably have, I'll have more to share later in the summer in terms of my plans for 2025 and beyond. I will still be covering the Jacksonville Jaguars. But again, I won't be able to share more than that until we get closer to July. And so, yeah, with that, thanks again to Mia. Thanks again to everyone at 1010, especially everyone who joined the show, made the first 131 episodes of Duval Rundown great. Duval Rundown will be continuing. Mia will be, I believe, hosting each episode, but if not each, then certainly the majority of episodes. It'll be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays moving forward. I still believe it will be at 9:04 a.m. But yeah, that'll do it. Appreciate all the listeners. Appreciate all the watchers, and especially appreciate all of you commenters. I'm going to miss you guys a ton. Yeah, I think that's it. Appreciate you guys a lot. Adios.